Hello, everyone, and thank you so much for letting me participate in your program. I really look forward to seeing you in a few weeks. And so let me introduce myself and my research. My name is Sama Mammodova, and I'm starting the fourth year of my PhD program in history at Harvard University. I am studying late medieval and early modern history of money lending and banking in Italy. So here is a very quick summary of my dissertation proposal. In 1464, in a small central Italian town of Perugia, the world's first public bank, called the Monte di Pietà, was established to offer low interest loans to the poor. Among the founders were a handful of radical Franciscans who presented the bank as an alternative to Jewish money lending and a relief to urban poverty. Through incendiary sermons against usury, they promoted a system of popular credit grounded in the observant Franciscan ideals of moral economy, and collected donations for the banks to be established by the people and for the people. Because members of the Franciscan order were bound by the vow of poverty and could not possess or handle money, they had to rely on local governments for staffing and operations of the Monte, and on lay donors for their funding. The first goal of my dissertation is to understand how the Franciscan vision of moral economy contributed to the development of these public banks, which set a pattern for a unique and unprecedented collaboration between religious organizations, the city governments, and the citizens. To do so, I will study first writings and sermons of theologians, Franciscan and non-Franciscan alike, who helped shape the Franciscan ideals of moral economy, and second, the documents pertaining to the establishment of the early Monte di Pietà, which reveal the stated intentions behind their foundation and explain how the collaboration between the Franciscans, the states, and the citizens was to be put into practice. As time went by, the Monte grew in numbers and spread to southern Italy, and from there to Spain, Spanish-controlled territories in northern Europe, and the New World, giving the Spanish crown significant leverage against the papacy, which relied heavily on Jewish pawnbrokers and private Italian banks. However, as these montes spread throughout the Spanish Empire, they became absorbed by the imperial state, which led to transformations both structural and ideological. The original symbiotic relationship was replaced by a hierarchical one, with the state at the very top, and although the Monti were initially meant to be sustained by donations and provide interest-free loans to the poor, the state-controlled Monti became dependent on the imperial treasury for funding and had to start charging interest on loans to remain afloat. The second goal of my dissertation, then, is to closely examine these and many other structural and ideological shifts that occurred when some Monte di Pietà transitioned from the symbiotic model of administration that defined the 15th century Monte to the state control model that became increasingly common in the 16th century. In addition to studying the way in which the Monti were transformed as a result of their incorporation into the states, however, I wish to understand how these Monti transformed the states into which they were absorbed. I will focus on two cases: Florence, where the Monte di Pietà was established by Savonarola in collaboration with the Franciscan Order and the Florentine Republic in 1495, and fell under the informal control of the Duke of Florence in 1530s, and the Spanish Empire, which had its first Monte established by an independent confraternity in Naples in 1538, and then gradually developed a centralized, state-controlled network of Monti throughout southern Italy, Spain, northern Europe, and the world. By studying the two cases, one representing informal control by the state and one formal incorporation, I hope to shed light on the gradual formation of state-level institutions that did not have origins in state-level thinking, but were rather created as grassroots communal endeavors and later appropriated by states. My intention in pursuing the aforementioned lines of inquiry is to suggest that the Monti di Pietà were not only the methods for relieving poverty and replacing Jewish money lending, but rather instruments of statecraft that were meant to reshape the economic, social, and political life in Christian states according to the Franciscan ideals of moral economy. The results of the campaign for the Monti and their subsequent activity reached far beyond the realms of credit and social welfare. In their efforts to get the citizens and the state to collaborate with them, the observant Franciscans developed rhetorical tools to pressure the citizens to donate funds and the states to provide legislative and administrative support for the establishment of the Monti. Out of these tools, the anti-Jewish sermons and negative Jewish archetypes promoted by the Franciscan campaign were particularly effective, as the preachers used them to shame Christian citizens for displaying negative traits such as usury that they associated with the Jews, and to criticize heads of state for letting Jews lend money in their lands. Once the Monti were established, they too caused significant changes in the social fabric of the late medieval and early modern states. In many places, they completely replaced Jewish moneylenders, forcing them to move elsewhere. In many others, they completely disrupted the traditional patterns of private credit by making money lending a communal and, in some cases, state affair. Regardless of whether the Franciscans intended to eventually turn the Monte di Pietà into state institutions and thereby give states greater control over credit and social welfare, which happened in Florence and the Spanish Empire, they exerted great influence on all the states where they promoted the Monti by pressuring the governing bodies into adopting their visual of moral economy. Thus, through fiery sermons, remarkable fundraising campaigns, and monumental efforts to bring together the church, the state, and the citizens, the observant Franciscans drafted the blueprint of public banks that transformed the Italian socio-economic landscape and maintained a prominent presence in Italy for centuries to come. I look forward to discussing this subject with you during the program and to get your feedback and suggestions. Thank you very much and hope to see you all soon. Bye bye.